The obsidian palace stood at the edge of reality itself, where the mortal realm kissed the borders of the eternal kingdoms. Its black spires pierced storm clouds that never cleared, and within its walls ruled Queen Lisa, the most feared sovereign in 1,000 dimensions. Vin Diesel had heard the legends, of course. Everyone had. They said Queen Lisa could shatter mountains with a whisper, that her gaze could turn armies to stone, that she'd conquered 17 worlds before her 25th birthday. They said she spoke every language ever conceived, from the oldest dragon tongues to the newest digital codes, whispered between artificial intelligences. So why? Vin wondered as he stood in chains before her throne. Would such a queen need a human translator? You're wondering, Lisa said, her voice like silk wrapped around steel, why I summoned you here. Vin raised his eyes to meet hers, a dangerous move in any throne room, but especially this one. Her beauty was legendary too, though the stories never quite captured the sharp intelligence in those dark eyes, or the hint of something else. Was that loneliness? The thought crossed my mind. Your Majesty, he replied carefully. Lisa descended from her throne with fluid grace, her midnight gown trailing behind her like living shadow. You're a translator, are you not? They say you're the best in the mortal realm. 47 languages, including several dead ones. 52 now, Vin corrected, then immediately regretted his boldness. But something in her expression made him continue. I learned 5 more last year. Impressive, she circled him slowly, appraising. But I can speak 10,000 languages, Mr. Diesel. I can commune with stars and negotiate with entities that exist outside time itself. So tell me, why would I need you? It was a test. Everything with queens was a test. Vin took a breath and decided to gamble on honesty. Because sometimes, he said quietly, the hardest language to speak isn't the most ancient or the most complex. Sometimes it's the simplest one, the language of genuine human connection. Lisa stopped mid-stride. For just a moment, the feared queen's mask slipped, revealing something vulnerable beneath. Then she laughed, a real laugh, not the cold thing she used to intimidate courtiers. Perceptive, she admitted. But you're only half right. She waved her hand, and his chains dissolved. Vin rubbed his wrists, confused but cautiously hopeful. Walk with me, Lisa commanded, already moving toward a balcony. I need to tell you a story. They stood overlooking her vast empire, cities of crystal and shadow, forests where trees grew downward into perpetual twilight, rivers that flowed uphill toward impossible horizons. 50 years ago, Lisa began, I made a deal with the Void Lords in exchange for the power to protect my people from an invasion. I gave up something precious. She turned to face him, and Vin saw ancient pain in eyes that had witnessed centuries. I can speak every language, yes, but I can no longer understand what people truly mean when they speak to me. The nuance, the subtext, the unspoken truths beneath the words, it's all just noise now. Vin struggled for words. That's a terrible curse, is it? Lisa's smile was bitter. I thought so too, at first, but it made me a better queen. I couldn't be swayed by pretty words or clever rhetoric. I ruled with pure logic, made decisions based on facts rather than feelings. She looked back at her kingdom. I became the most feared leader in history, and the loneliest, Vin said softly. Lisa's eyes snapped to his, sharp with something that might have been anger or might have been hope. Careful, translator. You brought me here to tell you what people really mean, Vin continued, finding his courage. But there's more to it, isn't there? You want someone who can tell you the truth about yourself. Dangerously perceptive, Lisa murmured. Then, unexpectedly, she smiled, a real smile, warm and a little mischievous. Do you know what convinced me to summon you specifically? My impressive resume? Your last job. She pulled a crystal from her pocket, and it projected a memory into the air between them. Vin saw himself at a peace conference 6 months ago, translating between 2 warlords who'd been enemies for decades. In the memory, one warlord made a formal statement, and Vin translated but then added his own observation. He says he agrees to your terms. Memory, Vin said, but his body language suggests he's scared of looking weak in front of his generals. If you acknowledge his courage in coming here, he'll be more genuine in his commitment. The warlords had looked skeptical, but they'd tried it. The peace had held, You didn't just translate words, Lisa said, dismissing the projection. You translated meaning, emotion, intent. You saw what I can no longer see. So you do need a human translator, Vin said. Finally understanding. I need, Lisa corrected, stepping closer. Someone to help me remember how to be human. There was something electric in the air between them. Vin knew he should be terrified she could destroy him with a thought, but instead he felt something else entirely. He'd spent his whole career building bridges between people, finding the humanity in even the most difficult conversations. Maybe that's what had drawn him to this work in the first place. That's a dangerous admission for the most feared queen in history, he said. Lisa's eyes sparkled with that mischievous light again. Perhaps I'm tired of being feared. Then she did something that would become legendary in its own right, though this legend would remain secret between them for quite some time. Queen Lisa, ruler of 17 worlds, conqueror of armies, speaker of 10,000 languages, gave Vin Diesel a flirty wink. It was such a human gesture, so unexpected from someone so powerful, that Vin couldn't help but laugh. Was that? Are you flirting with your new translator? He asked, grinning. Is it working? She raised an eyebrow, and Vin realized with delight that she was genuinely uncertain. For all her power, she'd forgotten how to do this simple, human thing. Your Majesty, Vin said, matching her earlier smile. As your official translator, I should inform you that yes, it's working. But I should also note that by the laws of about 37 of the kingdoms you rule, this is going to create some very interesting political complications. Then it's fortunate, Lisa replied, taking his hand, that I have an excellent translator to help me navigate them. As the storm clouds above the obsidian palace broke for the first time in 50 years, letting genuine sunlight pour through, Vin Diesel understood the real answer to the question everyone would be asking. Why did the most feared queen need a human translator? Because even the most powerful person in the universe needs someone who can help them remember what it means to be real.